Heavy on the wrist, baby.
Welcome to another edition of Heavy on the Wrist podcast. We here again, baby. We setting off a new season. We back. We got everything swinging in motion. You know what I'm saying? Motion man in the building. Hey, I'm your host, Mike Larry, and we got a very special guest in the building for you tonight. We got Rique.
Yes, sir.
Very talented young man. Rique right here. Very talented young man. So let them know about yourself, man.
First, I want to start by saying thank you for having me. Heavy on the Wrist Entertainment, you already know the vibes, we're in the building. A lot of history here. We all over. It's an international vibe. So, yeah. As far as me as an artist, Rique, I'm ultimately a man who makes music, who then, with that music, uses it as a vehicle to unite us all, nation by nation. So, that's pretty much me in a nutshell, United Nations.
Now, when you say United Nations through music, break that down for us. Let us know what's your goal, and when you say that, like, what do you mean? For the viewers out there that don't know, you're gonna break it down for you.
Okay, so I guess I could take it back to where it all began for me and my inclinations with the art form of music. And me, I'm from New York, so growing up in New York, Brooklyn to be exact, but all five boroughs, we all on the same type of time. Growing up in New York, it's like we hear a little bit of everything, whether it's through us natively or whether it's through tourists that come in and out the country through New York, because New York is the touchdown point for us internationally. So it's like through the different influences and different sounds that we hear on a day-to-day basis, and as we're growing up together, culturally, background-wise, we similar, as in we're American, but also our differences we're able to learn about each other through that medium of music. And to be honest with you, me coming up in United Nations with music, it's really coming from a foundational perspective, being ultimately from New York, United States of America, and you come across anything in this country. Come across Spanish, you come across French, you come across Caribbeans, all different types of Caribbeans, you come across European, you come across Oriental, you come across Arabia, you come across all different types of music, so different types of styles. And what I'm ultimately here to do is create a movement. The movement's larger than what you got imagined. It represents world celebration, and yeah, and through that, United Nations, through world celebration. Because one thing that we all know how to do, not only just America, not only just New York, but the whole world, one thing we all know how to do, we all know how to turn up, we all know how to celebrate, we all know how to fellowship. And that's what this music represents. So that's what I do.
Rique. Alright, so let's talk about your music. Because, his music is unique. It's very different. It's a certain type of sound. So, explain to the people what type of music you make, and basically, like, now when you try to, when you say you have a movement to try to collectively do a worldwide movement with different, crossing different barriers. So do you speak? Do you rap in just English or different languages, or do you collab with people that speak different languages? Is that how it goes? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so it's a lot to unpack, but I'm gonna put it like a form of like a crash course to where you're able to get the vibes of what I'm simply gonna say. And the way I put it is this: it's a culmination of everything. So me personally, to answer directly, I speak English. English is my first language. I got Caribbean roots, so with that, you get a little bit of patois to me. But also at the same time, coming up as a young lad, I've always been fascinated with languages and just an international perspective on how us as a human race, we communicate to one another through different ways, like through different languages, all different types, through sound, through verbal communication, through all it's a million and one. Like, that's who we are. We're creatures full of communication, and through that and my fascinations, my inclinations drove me towards learning language. And taking it from English, my first language, I'm also speaking Spanish, and then from there I'm also learning French, who knows where it's gonna go in the future. I just love languages. It's just something I'm able to dive into infinitely. Now we're gonna take a step outside of me. As far as artists go and friends and relationships that I have thus far in my career, people from all different faces and sides of the world, and they are coming with their own native tongues, and it's just amazing to see how everything is coming together thus far as is, where we're all having our own walks from whatever side of the world that we're from, whatever languages we pocketed from our native upbringings, where we're acquiring through our life and wherever our inclinations may take us, and coming together and just coming with a nice big large size burger of just international appeal. It's a lot to unpack, honestly, but yeah, it's amazing. It's quite fascinating.
So how do you end up, because when I was listening to some of your songs earlier, before we got in the air, how do you end up making records with other international artists? Like, how do you go about doing that?
This is real special. I feel like cream always rises to the top, but at the same time I have to be objective and give the credit to the generation that I was born in. Some of the things that I pull off, I honestly gotta give it up to the generation I'm born in. And usually I say Gen Z, but not everybody understands what Gen Z means. But Gen Z is basically the generation to be born after the millennials, and a lot of things transition and change underneath the ushering of Gen Z. Gen Z is pretty much anybody born within the window of the late 90s on forward into like early 2010s. So that generation, as we all know, a lot of change happened. The cell phone, internet, so on and so forth. So with how I find people, or how me and other artists meet from different sides of the world, it's simplified unimaginably, just off the strength of how we're so interconnected already, just through online, through social media, through Instagram, through TikTok. Like, who knows where the bar is gonna be taken in the future. So yeah, like, the way for me to be discovered, but also the way for me to discover other artists, I gotta give it the credit to, just being Gen Z and through social media platforms and whatnot, and just through the phone, technology. It's impressive. It's life-changing.
Technology is going crazy.
Yeah.
So speaking of technology, you got a lot of people using this AI out here. AI create, AI could do anything these days. How you feel about AI making songs in the music industry? How you feel about that?
Okay, so check me out. So I feel strong about this personally. Like, technology is a nice tool, but I feel like there comes a point where you can't substitute the most fascinating thing about the human is our spirit. A lot of this music that we make and where life takes us and where the music takes us as vehicles, it's all coming from a specific come from that can't be replicated. And I feel like that will always be needed and necessary inside music, inside all forms of art, not even just music. So yeah, when it comes to AI, my stance on it is, in certain areas, mathematically, because it's all be boiled down to math, you can simplify certain things to make things easier for you to come out with the end product. When it comes to the soul, when it comes to getting that booth, I don't want to hear nothing about AI. I'm not even gonna lie to you, to be honest with you. Like, production, maybe you could get away with it with me, because certain things gonna have to be, and certain knobs gonna be twisted, certain knobs gotta be measured up, pushed up and down. So maybe adjusting, adapting in a sense like that, when you're in the realm of mathematics where it takes dominance, okay, I can let you slide with AI. Still personally, I like to be the most true and raw possible, but when it comes to hopping that booth, no exception. I don't know nothing about AI and vocal adjusting and all different types of stuff, using different voices. Nah, I'm not really on that wave.
Nah, I ain't gonna fly here.
Nah.
But like you said, you was right, because you know what I'm saying? Because I believe music comes from the soul.
Exactly.
It comes from within, through your experiences, your life experience, or maybe you've seen experience through other people. And if you don't got a soul, then you write music with no soul. That's crazy.
It's hard to feel it.
It's hard to feel it. But What is your creative process for writing music? Like, what is your creative process?
I would say it's like a combination. It's like I can make a song in any circumstance, and what I mean by that is it's like I come from my favorite subject. I kind of can get a little nerdy about this, a little obsessed about it, but I take pride in it because when it comes to how I make a song or how I make a body of work, it could start from just writing. Because coming up as a young lad, once again, it's like one of my most favorite inclinations from like a school perspective during the time of my life where I actually cared about school was English, writing, reading, poetry, just the fascination with words. Like English, when it comes to languages, will always forever be my first love because I've always been fascinated with just the way words work. So yeah, like I could write whilst at the same time being more like tapped in with my come from within, from my spirit. I can go in the booth and just freestyle and say stuff off the top, punch in, punch out. So it can be a little bit of everything. I still love writing, to stay true to myself, but at the same time, some emotions, some feelings are too sharp, too true, and too spontaneous to where I can't stop it, right? So I just gotta get in the booth and just talk my shit real quick and make the song like that and just love it.
So how long you been creating music? Like how long you been doing this?
Seriously, how long I've seriously been creating music? I would say definitely since I was 19. Like 19 is when I put out my first song. Like you could say at this point, I just rounded up to 5 years, but 19, y'all could do the math. But yeah, that's when my first song came out.
So you have a unique sound. Who inspired you? Like who inspired your sound? Who inspires you? Like who do you listen to?
I love this question because it's like I can take it so many different directions, and it's I guess to stay within my generation, what I've grown up with, because music is like a never-ending catalog of different types of songs you can hop into. Music is like its own archive. Once it's out there, it's out there. Like songs outlive the artist, so it's like an endless archive. But if we were to stay within my generation, the people I grew up with my time being alive, would be, if I was to like say my first artist I really started rocking with heavy, I would probably say like I grew up on the 50 Cents. I grew up on, this is from Atlanta, I grew up on the Young Jeezys. Young Jeezy's is one of my favorite guys from Atlanta. Jay-Z. Like if we fast forward, we skip a decade, then we got the Futures from Atlanta. One of my favorites growing up through high school was always Lil Uzi. Lil Uzi, RP SSS Tentacion, he's another one of my guys that I grew up with going through high school. I can dance through so many different decades with music and so many different genres, it's not even funny, but people that come to mind right now would be, I gotta show love for Jay-Z, as a fellow New Yorker, Nicki Minaj, I can go all day with New York, but X, Florida, Lil Uzi, Philly, I'm all over the place with mine, but nah, it's infinite. I would say those would be some of my favorites from this generation that I've been able to grow up in. People I looked up to.
Nice. And if you had to work with, if you could choose some people to work with, who would you choose to work with?
That'd be tough. Who would I pick? Because for me, like, I could pick artists that I would love to work with, but I also could pick producers that I would love to work with. Like,
yeah, either producer, either one. Yeah.
Alright, so
I think there's some dope producers out there.
Exactly. So it's like, for artist wise, who would be amazing to work with would be, again, Lil Uzi, that would be pretty fire. But as far as like a lady, I would go Doja Cat. Doja Cat is one of my favorite artists from my generation as well. I'm actually quite sorry I didn't say her, but nah, we're gonna say her now. Doja Cat, hands down, one of my favorite female artists to come from my generation. As far as producers go, from my generation, one of my favorite producers has always been Pierre Bourne.
Pierre Bourne.
Yeah, Pierre Bourne. Got shot Pierre
You
Bourne.
don't hear that name every day.
For real. Pierre Bourne, no, he a beast. I'm not gonna lie. So him.
Who's he work with?
Pierre Bourne, he's a producer of our generation, but he kind of like has influences from like Kanye West.
Okay.
So it can kind of get a little dicey there because it's like he has influences from Kanye, but also he treats his own sound as well. But now speaking of Kanye, like I would love to do work with Kanye, but Kanye is a full-blown artist. So is Pierre Bourne. It's kind of to like break down both of them as artists. It kind of gets a little complicated because they are both not only just producers, they're artists as well. Like they hop in their own beats and everything. Like they're just super talented. But nah, like for my generation, Pierre Bourne, he's had songs with Lil Uzi, he's had songs with Playboi Carti, he's had songs with XXXTentacion. He's the dude supplying the beats. He is, in my generation, is really only two at the top, in my opinion. And the rest is just greats and legends amongst their own strengths.
Right.
But the two, like side A and side B, always been Metro Boomin and Pierre Bourne. And that speaks enough within itself. Like
Metro Boomin's a beast.
For real. Both of them are, honestly.
So who does your production now? Do you do your own production?
This is quite I'm actually gonna go two different directions with this. One would be I make some of my own beats, but right now I'm kind of developing a sound, and for me to like put something out from what I produce that I can stand behind, I'm a little bit more meticulous with me personally because I'm real serious about what this next generation, this next wave, the world celebration is going to sound like. But in the meantime, as I'm cultivating, as I'm developing on where we're going with this, I do have producers that do a hell of a job with capturing this vision that we're all gonna collectively come together on and usher in. And it's quite crazy because one of them, he's from Russia and he currently lives in the Netherlands. So this international movement, it kind of like shows me that us as United States or even myself, we're not alone on this. There's a lot of our stories is to be shared worldwide, and a lot of people can relate with us that we might not even imagine about. So for him to be, from Russia, currently living in the Netherlands, he makes super dope beats. It's progressive. We're going forward, and I'm not gonna lie, it's the direction that I like to be headed with his music, and he does a hell of a job. So shout out him. He go by Soviet Kid. Currently undergoing a name change pretty soon, but through fucking with me, you guys gonna know who he is, regardless of the name change or whatever. But right now, currently, he goes by Soviet Kid. But y'all gonna see.
It's the whole international movement, man. And one thing you touched on, I want to elaborate on, is that being out here, and I meet a lot of artists, and they feel like when they get signed or somebody come with a bag that they made it, and they start to work less. And in this game, it's the opposite. When the light comes to you, you gotta work even twice as harder now, because now you got other people that's dependent on you, and you got other people that are invested in you. And in order for the whole machine to work, you gotta be a part of the machine. You gotta be the main unit running the machine. So, that's the difference between when you're independent. When you're independent, you are the machine. You gotta run. If you don't run, it ain't running, man. What you working on right now?
Right now, I'm currently working on dropping the first album. Not my first album, but the first album of what I said prior about this movement that's being pushed for a world celebration and United Nations. This would be, in a sense, this would be like chapter 1. I'm working on that right now. It's currently getting engineered. I'm looking forward to how it's coming together. I'm excited as well. But the album is gonna be called I Am 2K. And I Am 2K is an abbreviation, but it's more of a lifestyle, it's a movement. And quite literally what it stands for is International Movement 2000. So right now we're in a new millennium. So with that being the 2000s, but also at the same time we're in a new century. So right now we're at the cusp of where, in regards to the entire timeline of life from since BC to AD to where we are now in 2025, we're at the cusp of anything can happen this century, but also anything can happen this millennium, to where by the time it's said and done and we crack open the history books, we're gonna be able to look back and say, wow, this was invented in 2023, or this was invented in 2056, and like history is gonna continue being made. And right now, I feel like we're at the cusp of something groundbreaking. I can't tell what it is yet, but something groundbreaking is going to happen that's gonna represent for the rest of our century, let alone millennium. Same way we look in the history books in school or history class or university, college. We look at history books, we see so many different like excellent figures within time that created this, that invented that invented the automobile, that invented the television, or invented the first car or the first horse carriage. So it's like right now, being in 2025, we're fresh in 25 years into a new millennium. So anything can happen now. So that's why I feel like this album is gonna be able to push us closer towards that. But until then, the world may never know. We're gonna find out together.
Any and everything can happen. You know what I'm saying? The world could be yours. So one thing we always do is have you on the wrist, and y'all know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? We always have them drop a little 16 something light. You know what I mean? Either off the top of the dome or something written. You know, get a people a little sampler. Okay. You know what I mean? Got any 16?
Yeah, I can give you a little song.
Alright.
Give you a little song. Alright. Keep up with me. So, wait, si ya yo sé ya te estoy cantando, pero para pues estoy refiriendo el tempo. En el video que lo body on the book, and I didn't say están erillando. So, I can get you a little bit of that, and I can get you a little bit of them both for the nation, you know, wherever them go, we gonna stand by. We gonna make fun and say grand this time. Since sunrise, we wanna have a good time. Just put them both for the nation, you know, wherever them go, we gonna stand by. But make fun and say grand this time. Since sunrise, we wanna have a good time. I can go whatever direction. Like right now, it's a United Nations worldwide movement.
That's dope, man.
You know the vibes.
Hey, it's a worldwide movement, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had our first official bilingual international artist on Heavy on the Wrist. You know, we always break the barrier, man. We always crack the code. You know what I'm saying? We got that code cracker over here. We get them in here and we get them started. We like that, put that jet fuel in them and light a fire in them and they take off.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, you got any shout outs out there, Rique?
I'll definitely say shout out my bro guy Deontay, my bro guy Soviet. He also gonna go by SK as well, so stay tuned for that. Either or, shout out my bro guy in the Netherlands right now. Shout out my bro guy in Switzerland right now. Deontay Switzerland, Soviet Netherlands. We all over the world right now. Yeah, that's where I'm at with him.
No doubt.
I'm looking forward to what the future brings.
And let them know where they can find you and listen to your music at, man.
So I go by Riquey, Riquey, Riquey. You can find me on all platforms. Find me on TikTok, everywhere. It's all the same. Riquey, Riquey.
Hey, you see them here first, man. You know what I'm saying? We get them diamonds straight out the rough. You know, they ask me where I find them. I can't tell you that, but I find them. You know what I'm saying? They here.
Word up.
And the labels, they check it. They calling in. So, y'all stay tuned, man. This has been another edition of Heavy on the Wrist podcast. And we out.
Heavy on the wrist, baby.